Hey, this is Jason with Baguette Bound. Today on this video, we're going to be talking about validating your long-term French visa. So we're going to start with the physical process of validating your visa online, how to do that. So this is maybe an easy moment now, a stress-free moment, hopefully. You've done all the hard work of figuring out what kind of visa you need, doing the application online, going to the appointment, getting your visa back, showing, hey, you've approved. You've got a valid French visa. You've got yourself here to France. You're on the ground. The one thing left, France says if you've got a long-term visa, you are required to validate your visa within the first 3 months of your arrival. It's a pretty easy process. So we will start here at the Foreign Nationals of France. This is the Interior Ministry. It's like the Department of Immigration and Integration's website. This is a site as a visa holder, as an immigrant, you'll be using with some frequency. First button, we check validate my visa. And here in the French version, it gives you a lot of information, what types of visas require validation after you're here. It's a lot of them. So most of the long-term visas require validation. One exception, at least the exception that was memorable for us, if you're a minor, our daughter was 11 years old at the time when we arrived. So if you are a minor, even if you have one of these types of visas, you are not required to validate. So while my wife and I did validate, I had a visitor visa. Raina, my wife, had a entrepreneur, liberal professions visa. My daughter was on a visitor visa, but she did not need to validate that visa. Let me switch back to English. So we start with our visa number. It shows you here in the picture. Your visa number is a 9-digit number. It can be found in the upper right-hand corner of your visa. Entering that will bring you to a summary page. It will show you all the steps you're going to go through. This is a 6-step process. It takes about 10 minutes. It gives you the warning that you're going to need your passport, your visa, and probably a credit card in order to pay these bills. There is a way to pay this in cash at some physical building locations, some tobaccs, some grocery stores in France. But if you don't have a credit card, please get one. It's much easier. So we'll jump in. Screen 1, just your basics, your name, your date of birth, your visa start date. One thing that is worth mentioning on this page is, first you select the type of visa that you have, and we'll just choose entrepreneur, for example. And it forces you to choose a regulatory reference. It says the regulatory reference is found in the remarks section of your visa. That was not true for us. There's nothing, this text is found nowhere on my visa. Several other people that I've talked to have found the same thing. This text is not on their visa. So which one do I choose? And this is the case really for all of these. You've got two options, an R311 and an R431. R311, R41. So which one? It's not obvious, but we were able to just do a little Google searching, found the French legislative site. It's a .gouv.fr site, showing all the regulatory, the laws and rules of France. Finding the applications for residence permits in the R311, found that this is a repealed old version of the law. This was in place through March of 2021. And the new one, R431, which replaced that version, and has been in place since May of 2021. And because our visas were approved after this May 2021 date, I knew that the 431 was the correct one. Certainly in the future, this can change again. So if you find yourself watching this after 2024, and there are different options here, I suggest going to the French legislative site and seeing, did this get repealed again and a new version is available. So with that regulatory reference, you're ready to move on to step 2. Okay, so step 2 is your family status, phone number, and email address. You will be receiving emails from the immigration office, so make sure it's one you can check easily. It does give you the warning that you're going to need a bank card or MasterCard to buy the excise stamp or the fee, pay for the fee later on. Step 3, your date of entry. So the day you got here, not the validity dates of your visa, but the day you actually arrived in France. Your address asks you if you're living with someone, yes or no. And for your address, this address is important because you're going to get physical mail from the immigration office. I believe it's, at least at the time we did this, it was the only way to receive meeting notifications for our visits to the immigration office. It also sets where those meetings are going to be. So make sure this address is somewhere where you're going to be long-term, you can receive mail, and you're going to be close enough to go to these meetings in person. This is relevant for us. When we first arrived, we flew into Lyon. Lyon was the address we used on our visa application because it was the first location we'd be staying at for just a few weeks before we moved across the country back to Southwest France to set up shop long-term. So I filled this out in Lyon after we arrived, but I used our Southwest France address to ensure that I was in the correct region and department for immigration purposes in the future. So if you're going to be in multiple locations, do think about that. This is going to lock you in somewhere for that initial visa validation. Step 4 we'll skip. Is just a recap section. Pretty easy, just gives you a chance to verify all the information you've just entered. Next up is the payment. There's a link here. You can click on here, enter a credit card, pay the amount. When you received your paperwork, getting your approved visa back, it would have had information on how much you had to pay to validate it. So you'll go through this link, select the correct amount to pay. You'll get a 16-digit number in your receipt after you've paid it. You'll come back and key in that 16-digit number here and move on. And congratulations, you're done. You have confirmed the validation of your long-term visa. So this is where you need to be 3 months after you arrive. This is all you need to have done. You've entered all this information, you've paid, you've got to this confirmation step. The screen tells you that you're going to receive an email. First, an email with your login information for this site that you'll be managing your visa status from in the future. So things like visa renewals or changing your address or requesting citizenship if you do that in the future. You'll do all that through this immigration website. But you'll get your login information to set up your account. And you'll also get a second email with a PDF copy of confirmation document showing that you have validated this visa and you've met your requirements. You can also get that confirmation document here. And if you click on the button, you can bring up some PDFs showing that, hey, congratulations, we can confirm that you have validated your long-term visa. On this document, it's going to be all the information that you entered on your visa application, as well as confirmed here in this validation process. So save a copy of this digitally. I printed it out and brought it with me whenever I had meetings with immigration officials in the future. But that's it. You know everything you need to know in order to validate your visa. This is the conclusion of a series of videos that we've made here at Baguette Bound covering the visa process from beginning to end. Our first video covers trying to get more information on what types of visas are available, what type of information you need to provide. Our second video is the act of physically filling out the application forms. And our third video is on scheduling and attending the in-person visa application appointment that you have to go to in order to kick off this process. So those videos will come up at the end of this, so stick around. And we'll also have links down on the bottom. But I hope this was helpful. If you feel like you need additional help, you can check out our website, baguettebound.com. There's an opportunity to book sessions with Raina and I if you need more specific help on anything involved in this visa process or the much bigger going to France long-term process. So we'll have links down below in the description, as well as I said, some of the videos will pop up at the end. But thanks for joining us. A biento.